Welcome to Time Travel Coins. I'm a UK coin collector. I'm going back in time through the UK and English monarchs. We're now in the reign of George III, and there he is with his Christmas party hat on. He was named George William Frederick, born on the 4th of June 1738, ascended to the throne on the 25th of October 1760. And at the same time, he was Prince Elector of Hanover in the Holy Roman Empire, and that title changed to become the King of Hanover later on. He was coronated on the 22nd of September 1761 and died on the 29th of January 1820. So I'll start off with the earlier coins in George III's reign in the 18th century. First up, as usual, is the farthing. We have a young portrait of George III. It's the reverse with Britannia. A little heavier and larger than the farthings in William IV's reign and George IV's reigns. This is 4.93 grams, grade about fine condition. Probably worth about £10, that coin. The next copper coin we've got is the halfpenny. Same portrait there. Britannia reverse. Again about fine. It's got nice detail on the shield there though. You can see the whole of the Union flag. 1773. About fine again, and about maybe £8. 1773, just before we lost the colonies, the American independence, which was in 1776. Next up, I've got a real tiny one. Silver. It is a silver penny. So this is actually a Maundy penny, but probably, I think you could spend this back then. Let me know in the comments if you disagree. Because there were no copper pennies at this time. And historically, pennies were always silver pennies, dating right back to Roman times, because it came from the Roman coin denarius. That's why it's got a 1D when we say 1 penny. So that's the obverse there. And reverse with 1 for 1 pennies, 1795. And there was a real silver shortage and copper shortage to some degree in the majority of George III's reign. So we had lots of other coins around, merchant tokens, not the official currency, but good for use in certain shops and certain areas. Silver price was going up due to all the wars. We talked about the American War of Independence, but there was also the Napoleonic Wars a bit later, lots of other wars around the world, French Revolution. Silver price went up, and it was really hard for the Bank of England to keep up, so there weren't many coins minted at all in silver. This is one of the rare ones that, well, it's not a rare coin, but one of the rare years that they did mint them. And this is a sixpence from 1787. It's got the shield reverse there. You've got the fleur-de-lis, 3 fleur-de-lis to represent France. We're trying to stake a claim to France. The Irish harp. It's got the coat of arms of Hanover, and it's got a combined shield with the Scottish rampant lion and the English 3 lions to show the unification of the two countries, which happened at the beginning of this century. And the crowns and the fields there. Shame it's old, this one. For that reason, probably only worth about £13. Next one isn't old though, it's the shilling. 1787 again. There was another shilling minted in 1763, referred to as the Northumberland shilling. That's rarer than this coin. It was called the Northumberland shilling because the Earl of Northumberland apparently gave £100 worth away on his trip to Dublin. Same reverse there, and a bit better detail. Probably this is a very fine coin, and I think probably worth around £30 in auction. Turn it the right way around so you can actually read the legend around the side. Oh, and I've missed out one. Here's a threepence, silver threepence. £1763. Very fine, I think, that coin as well. Worth about £20 to £25. So, really struggling to find the metals to make the coins. What the country did do in 1797 was introduce the first copper penny and copper 2p. So, still not much silver around, but they managed to scrape the copper together. This was referred to as the cartwheel penny. Quite a chunky coin, 28.35 grams. The obverse there. They put this extra rim round it, which was hopefully made it harder to forge. In reverse, we've got Sandy with the trident there. So yeah, still struggling for the silver. Around this time we were actually getting 8 real coins, Spanish coins, and countermarking them to use as currency. And I think the 8 reals were worth 4 shillings and 9p at the time. I don't have an example of those. Do an example of the 2p coin. Here we go, this is a real monster of a coin. Real pocket breaker this. This is 56.7 grams. It was minted in Birmingham in the Soho Mint. And the reason why they were so chunky and big, they wanted to make them worth the weight in the metal. So this is copper. So this was 2p worth of copper. These coins were very susceptible to edge knocks, as you can see there's some on this coin. So when you're grading this coin, you need to look at the edge just as much as the actual wear on the coin. Still think it could scrape a very fine grade. This coin probably worth about £25. The reverse, same as the penny. But soon after that, copper prices fell. And the coins got a bit smaller. So in 1799, this was the farthing. Just about a fine grade, that coin. A little later on, they change the design a little bit. This is 1806 farthing. Again, copper prices fell, so the coin got smaller. So you can see the 1799 one there is a little bit bigger. The 1799 one weighs 6.3 grams. 1806 weighs 4.72 grams. Decent condition. The 1806, but quite a common coin. I think about £7 that coin you can purchase. I've got a real nasty one now. This is a 1799 halfpenny. I think this one's been dug out of the ground. I think I think I just got this in a bulk lot. I didn't actually pay anything for it particularly. You'd be lucky to get £1 for this. I think it's in such a bad grade, poor grade. This was 12.6 grams of copper, and then it's an 07 halfpenny, a bit smaller, dropped from 12.6 grams to 9.45 grams. I think the halfpenny here has been fine grade, about £4. So very cheap. A lot of these George III copper coins, quite a lot minted. Then they had the penny as well, which reduced in size from the cartwheel. Nice grade, 1807, very fine condition. See, I think it's 18.9 grams, so a big drop from the 28 grams. It's a cartwheel penny. Just put those two next to each other. See the difference in size. £1807 penny, probably worth about £10. So there we have all the bronze coinage, and still got a problem with silver. And what I'll show you next is some of the emergency coinage that the Bank of England produced. So let's take a look at this emergency coinage. In 1804, I mentioned earlier they were countermarking 8 reals. What they're also doing is completely restriking 8 reals as well. Sometimes you can see a faint image of the old coin beneath it, but this is what's called a dollar. It was struck in 1804. Unfortunately, someone's put a hole in this, as you can see. So they started off as 5 shilling coins, but that was actually changed later to, I think it was 5 shillings and sixpence from 1811 to 1818. Wasn't quite sterling silver. This is 0.903 silver, like the 8 real coin. And that's why they called it the dollar instead of the normal crown for 5 shillings. A little bit later in 1811, introduced this 3 shilling coin. Reduced the silver content down to 0.892. So they're really, you call it debasing the coin, reducing its silver content, increasing its base metal content. I guess it's similar to printing money in a fiat currency. You can't print money in where you've got a gold standard or silver standard, but what you can do is start to debase the actual coins to make them, to reduce the precious metal content. So this is 3 shillings from 1811, 14.7 grams. And at the back there you can see it's called bank token. 1811. Probably value that about £37. Changed the design later. This is a 1814 version with a different portrait. still, the reverse there clearly says bank token 3 shillings, 1815. Similar value of £35 roughly. Some other odd denominations. Here's a 1 shilling and 6pence coin from 1811, bank token. First portrait. Fortunately this time George III's health was really deteriorating, and we had the future King George IV as Prince Regent. He was referred to as Mad King George. What we think now is that he had a condition called porphyria, which affects the blood, and then the blood then in turn affected the brain. Here's the second portrait of the 1 shilling and 6pence, 1814. Value of these coins about £18 each. So it was a really complete mess at the moment. We had lots of forgeries kicking around. We had different denominations, new denominations. We had coins being introduced and then demonetized a few years later. We had debasement. We had merchant tokens kicking around. We were sending out 8 reals with a counter mark on. It was a real mess, and we needed a recoinage and a restart, and that's exactly what happened in 1816. So next I'll show you the coins which set the standard weights and silver contents for many years to come. So cleared the board again to get us some space. And this was the final portrait of King George III. Lovely condition. It's an 1818 6pence, 2.83 grams silver. I say this is extremely fine condition. We've got shield reverse, 3 lions, Scottish lion and Irish harp. Looks like we've given up on France, but still got the coat of arms of Hanover in the centre. Next up is the shilling, slightly less common year this, 1818. Probably only fine grade, 5.66 grams of sterling silver. All the coins were back to sterling silver again, 0.925. Same reverse as the 6pence. We have the half crown. Nice grade, this coin. This is the first portrait that really made him look a little obese. It was referred to as the bull head. Didn't last long, that portrait, but a lovely condition coin. I would say extremely fine, and value at auction around £100. So in the same year, we had a different portrait, so it quickly changed. This one's got a nasty scratch on it. 1817 again. Slight change to the reverse as well. I'll just bring back the other one. Not a huge amount of difference. And we also had the crown. This is an 1819 crown. Now this is lovely detail, but I got a big discount because it's an X mount. You can see the clasp marks there near the chin and the back of the head of George. But I'd much rather have one of these coins than a standard one coin because you can really get close to that detail. I think it would be extremely fine if it hadn't been for the clasp marks there. And this was the first time we had George and the Dragon on the crown. Slightly different to the George IV design because it's got the legend around the edge of the coin. Still nice detail. Edge lettering as well on this. Deco set to Tarnum. It's an ornament and a safeguard to prevent the clipping. Anno Reg Ni, the year of the regnal year. LIX 59, and George the Third reigned for 59 years. Very long reign. Okay, and that's the end of the coins I have on George III. Quite a long one to get through, that one. Next up it'll be George II. I'm keeping going. I'm just wondering what my oldest coin is. Thanks for watching.